This is the Shrimp Trawler Video Channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball Excel Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans, to the game of the week in the 1981-84 Fall League. We got a series today in the American League North between the defending champion Ohio Players and the Detroit Tigers, a team that you'd expect to be good in this timeline. They win the 84 World Series. They got a lot of the pieces in place by 83, actually. Ohio won it all last year, won the championship. This is a wild division that sort of came out of nowhere, really, because you had the Expos from the National League come over to the American League in this division. They won the championship 2 years ago. The Tigers have been into some postseason battles and so forth, so it's not like this is an anonymous division. This is really weird how you'd expect the Baltimores, the Bostons, the New Yorks, and the Kansas City Royals and the Oakland A's, Californianos and all from the timeline, but that's what we got, Ohio-Detroit. Let's see what happened in Game 1 in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, home of the Ohio Players Band, which is why we named the team after them as an expansion team. Detroit, Milt Wilcox versus Joaquin Andujar for the Ohio Players. First inning, Tito Landrum leadoff double, RBI single Madlock, 1-0 Players. Bottom of the fourth, Hendrick and Dick Davis single, and then it's a 3-run homer, Tony Pena, 4-zip. Into the fifth, ground ball to Madlock, he kicks it for an error, a couple singles, sec fly, another single, and the Tigers cut the lead in half to 4-2. They had another in the sixth. A Johnny Grubb walk and an RBI ground out by Lance Parrish. It's 4-3. But bottom of the seventh, they finally finish off Milt Wilcox. A single by Landrum. Jerry Mumphrey gets a comebacker to the mound. You got to field your position. Got to help yourself out. Maybe make a 1-6-3 double play, but no. Wilcox commits an error. Then right after that, Bill Madlock, the second 3-run homer of the game for the Ohio Players, him and Pena. And this is all over now. Wilcox is pulled for Tug McGraw, and it's an 8-4 game at this point. And Roy Lee Jackson and Brian Clark close it up for the Ohio Players, an 8-4 victory. Andujar went 7 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, just 1 earned. Wilcox 6 innings, 10 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned. And the Ohio Players, this is sort of how they looked when they were winning the championship a year ago. Game 2. It is Jerry Koosman. And if you're wondering, the Tigers, what's that saying? If you can't beat them, sign them when they get really old. Tigers once played the Mets in one of my World Series in the Summer League, and so Tug McGraw and Jerry Koosman, near the end of their careers, been signed to Detroit. You could say Koosman's taking over the Mickey Lolich role here in Detroit. Against Vida Blue, now the number 2 starter for the Ohio Players. In the second inning, we get a Lance Parrish homer, 1-0 Tigers. In the third inning, bottom of Jerry Mumphrey, Madlock, Hendrick, Dick Davis, Gary Matthews. 4 singles and a walk is 3 runs. A couple more singles and an RBI ground out in the fourth, and it is a 5-1 game. And the Tigers look like they're going through the motions. They put a guy on in the fourth, he gets into a double play. Add a couple base runners in the fifth and sixth. Go quietly the next couple innings. In the ninth inning, another Lance Parrish home run. He is the offense today. 2 solo homers. Odell Jones closes this thing out. It's a 5-2 win for the Ohio Players. Vida Blue, 8 innings, 6 hits. A run, a walk, 5 Ks. And Jerry Koosman wasn't that bad. He struggled in the early innings, but got through 6, 8 hits and 5 runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. 2 quick wins for the Ohio players at home. So that will bring us to Detroit for a game 3 today. And we have a nice little pitching matchup here. For the Ohio players, it's Mike Norris. No, he's not in his 1980 card anymore. He's in his 81 card. Still good, not as good. 12-9, 3.75 ERA, 173 innings. That devastating curveball still present, baffles left-handed batters. Tigers add an extra righty to their lineup to counter that. And the Tigers are going to send Jackson Todd, who, believe it or not, was on the Ohio players last year. Helped them win the World Series. Then they cut him. And then the Tigers signed him in undrafted free agency to be the number 4 starter after Morris, Wilcox, and Kuzman. Todd's a starter 6. He was a Blue Jay in 81 with a 3.95 ERA in 98 innings. From Motown, Ohio and Detroit, Tigers have to avoid the sweep. Tigers have to avoid the sweep, and Ohio wants to get the sweep to catch back up to the Expos, who are winning the division presently. Let's go take a look at that right now before we start this game. Boy, this division is tough, and you know what? I mean, the last two teams to have won the World Series are tied. However, there's no wild card because, well, we've said this many times on our show that we're having a strike. Players are going on strike, and while the owners are locking the players out at the end of the year, trying to mimic something that may have happened in 1981. And we're going to have just an end-of-season tournament for bragging rights. But otherwise, no wild cards, just 4 division winners. So only one of these teams will have a chance to make it. And it looks like the Tigers and the Indians, really weird. The actual teams that they're generally cherry-picked to win this division, I have to say, Cleveland and Detroit, because they're not up here with those 3 teams. Yet, for some reason, Cleveland's always confused. Detroit's stumbling this year. So that's the big picture look. Let's get started from Tiger Stadium. Leading off for the Ohio players, it is Tito Landrum. 1-5 is a base hit. Jerry Mumphrey. 1-5. Let's take a look at this card right away, right off the bat. They're hitting away. Jerry Mumphrey was an Astro in 83, hit .336. Wherever he played, he hit, and then he moved on. He hit for the Cardinals. He hit for the Padres. He hit for the Yankees. And he hit for the Astros. And for some reason, none of those teams wanted him on the team very long. So an expansion team like the Ohio players say, let's just run it the whole time. He's played his whole career here. Jerry Mumphrey. 1-5 homer, 1-9 double is a 2-base hit. Landrum will hold at third. Now you got the dangerous number 3, Bill Madlock. 46, second X, second baseman. Whitaker's a 1E14, but the run will still... Oh, Whitaker just kicked the ground ball. So, yeah, the run does score, and there's no out recorded. So, we got runners on the corners here. Madlock has to be held. He's an ace stealer. And you have George Hendrick. 66 is a sac fly to left field. There's an unearned run. Runner at first, 1 out for Dan Driesen, 58. Triple 1-2 doubles, a double to center field. Madlock, do you want to take on the Geronimo arm? No. It's Geronimo. It's sort of almost like an unwritten rule. I don't think Geronimo has ever thrown anybody out the plate. And you're like, wow. It's like no one's ever run on him. Second and third, 1 out. It's Gary Matthews. 3-10's a strikeout. Big out there. And number 7 hitter, Tony Pena. 1-4 grounds is short. So Tigers get out of it with just 2 runs allowed. And leading off for them is Barry Evans at third base today. 66 is a walk. That's a case of the Norris card. A walk on 6-6 for the righty, not the lefty. Hey, Evans is an extra righty in the lineup today. Allen have gun Will Trammell. 1-6 is a K. Sweet Lou Whitaker flies to center. And Glenn Wilson, 67, second X. Jerry Manuel's a 3E11, and he gets up a single. 2 on 2 outs for Johnny Grubb, and Johnny rolls to second base. Top of 2, it's Julio Gonzalez. 33 pops to third. Jerry Manuel, 2 sevens, a double to center field. Tito Landrum, 45, flies to right, and with 2 outs, it's Jerry Mumphrey. 2-6, RBI single, you saw the card. Jerry Mumphrey's having a day. 3-0. Bill Madlock, 38, flies left. Bottom of 2, it's Reed Nichols, former Red Sox, 58, pops to first. Dave Bergman, 35's a walk. Lance Parrish, 210. Let's take a look at Lance. I mentioned the 2 solo home runs and the loss. He's on fire. His great 1982. 32 home runs and a 284 average. You know, you can cherry pick these Tigers to be even better than the 84 Tigers. If you take Parrish in 82, you take Trammell or Whitaker in 83, some of those guys in 84. You know, you can sprinkle them into their best years, and that should make, by the time this team gets heavy into the latter, they look more like the 81 Tigers than the 84 Tigers at this point, let's say. But Parrish is on fire, 210 is gone, and we have a 3-2 game. And it's Geronimo, the center fielder. 45, flies to center. Sparky Anderson, the Tiger manager, brought him over from Cincinnati with him. Back up top to Barry Evans. 2-5 is a walk. And Alan Trammell, 38. Single 1 of 4. Cannot get it. 3-2 into the third. It's George Hendrick. 2 sevens, a base hit. Dan Driesen, 1-9 is a walk. 2 on for Gary Matthews. 55, second C. Runners in scoring position for Tony Pena. 69, another sac fly, second of the day. And it is a 5-2 game. Julio Gonzalez, 66, flies to left. Bottom of the third, it's Lou Whitaker, 6'10". Off Norris card, homer 1-18, it is gone. Lou Whitaker, 4-3 game. Glenn Wilson, 1-5. 1-5 is gone, and we have a tie game. Johnny Grubb, 1-7's a K. Reed Nichols, 36, flies to left. And Dave Bergman, 53, first X. Driesen's a 2-8 at first, and he makes the play. We go to the fourth. It's Jerry Manuel, 56, short X. Trammell, a 1. Tigers have what they want at second and short, as you can imagine. A 1E14 and a 1E16. Whitaker and Trammell. Best defense in the sport presently. Tito Landrum. 1-9 is a walk. Runner at first for Jerry Mumphrey. 3-6. He's on for the third time. This time a walk. 2 on, 1 out for Madlock. 3-5 is single dot. Bases loaded for Todd. Now, as the number 4 starter, you're certainly willing to quick hook the guy, and he's put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 men on already. Almost at the point of weakness. They have Juan Behringer, who's a relief starter. He could go 3-4 innings if you needed him to, knowing that this is a potential elimination game. Let's see what Todd can do against these right-handed batters. George Hendrick, playing back with the bases loaded and 1 out. 68, double 1-2 off the Todd card. That's a 2-run single. And the murmurs and boos are coming down in Detroit. They're like, get this kid out of here. He's killing us. He's killing us, Whitey. This would be one of the most unconventional appearances to do it, but they're going to do it. 3 1/3 of Jackson Todd, more like Jackson with an E and an R in the middle. You know what I was, yeah, that's, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to, you know what I mean? But you know what I was thinking. Jackson, yeah, or whatever. Anyway, early hook, and we're going to go to Tug McGraw. He only has to set up now. He is near the end of his career in 81. He's 2-4 with a 2.66 ERA in 44 innings. They have Willie Hernandez, the MVP Cy Young winner of 84, as the closer. So having Tug as somebody to chat with in the bullpen sounds like a lot of fun. Willie Hernandez and Tug McGraw. I mean, both guys were probably on the mound to end the 1980 and 1984 World Series, respectively. McGraw comes on in the fourth as a lefty to try and see if he can shake this down. Runners on the corners, playing back for left-hander Dan Driesen. 39 is a 4-6-3 double play. Well, that's what Detroit needed to end the inning. 6-4 Ohio, bottom of the fourth. And it's Lance Parrish. 49 single. Geronimo, 1-8, flies to center. Back up top to Barry Evans. 2-8, that's a 6-4-3 double play. We'll go to the fifth. McGraw's a relief 2. Behringer would most certainly come behind McGraw. Matthews, 58, is a strikeout. Tony Pena, 2-4, grounds short. And Julio Gonzalez, 45, left. All those guys, Driesen, Matthews, Pena, Gonzalez, and Manuel, are all better against righties. It's a 6-4 high-scoring game. Bottom of the fifth here in Tiger Stadium. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Tigers have got to find some motivation in this. They've pretty much concluded that they're not going to win the division and go to the playoff series. Players are going on strike anyway. You have to wonder how many players are just kind of tapped out anyway and just want to get this thing over with. And they're like, well, wait a minute. Let's just play 3 games, have 2 days off. You know, I mean, we're going on a strike anyway. Why do we have to play the 5-game series best of 5? Let's just get swept. Who cares, right? So there's that mentality in this league, folks. And if you look at the standings, you see some incredible winning percentages and really bad losing percentages thus far. Just saying. Bottom of the fifth. Leading off, it's Alan Trammell. 2/7 base hit. Your tie runs, Sweet Lou Whitaker. 112, fielder's choice. He's at first. For Glenn Wilson, who homered earlier, 2-5, hits the card again with a base hit to center. Whitaker, do you want to go coast to coast down 2 against a plus arm in center field? Normally, I don't like to do it down 2, but they're going to do it. They're down in the series. And as soon as I do this, this is what happens. As soon as I, get my 85% chance to just go to third base, I have to roll the dice for permission, and I get thrown out at third. So Lou Whitaker gets thrown out at third base. He can't believe it. And, that stuff, this is what happens. That's what happens. 2 outs. You see what happens? Johnny Grubb, 2-4, grounds to second base. Well. 6-4 game into the 6th. It'll be Jerry Manuel, probably Tug's final inning. 42, he flies to right. Tito Landrum, 410, center X. This is Geronimo at 2E5. Makes the catch. And Jerry Mumphrey, 64, is a double to right field. And now you got Madlock. And now you want to make sure they don't get a 3-run lead. Madlock crushes lefties. As does Hendrick behind him. So let's actually pull Tug after 2 1/3 innings with 2 outs here in the 6th. And let's go to Juan Berenguer. Another important part of the Tigers in 84. In 83, he was 9-5 with a 3.14 ERA in 158 innings. Juan Berenguer coming out of the pen as the long man. And he will face Bill Madlock. Big moment here. Keep it a 2-run game. Here's the pitch. 4-12 flies to center. Bottom of the 6th. It'll be Reed Nichols, 47, single 1-2, cannot get it. Dave Bergman, 36, another walk. He's been on and scored last time. Lance Parrish, 1-5. He's on again. A base hit, 2. He's hitting everything. Base hit to center field. Bergman stops there. Tying runs aboard for Cesar Geronimo. 2-8, lines the first. And with 2 outs, back up top to Barry Evans, leading off. 1-7 is a base hit in the center field. Do you want Bergman to get thrown out on this? 12, 13, 14, plus 1 arm. Plus 1 arm, I got to do it on a 15. And I'm thrown out on a 17. Cannot run in this game. 85% chance and a 75% chance we'd be tied, but no, sir. Can't run. Don't do it. Thrown out on the bases. Back-to-back innings. It stays 6-4. It's coming up Ohio players, folks. This is sort of the magic they had a year ago in winning the whole championship. Top of the 7th. Berenguer will continue, and he will face George Hendrick. 3-7 is a K. Dan Driesen, 45, rolls to second. And Gary Matthews, 57, is a strikeout. Any more defense that Ohio could bring into the game to help their starter? No, they're all in there. As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, stretch time here in Detroit. We are enjoying this wonderful, the Dirt Bombs, Detroit garage band from the early 90s and beyond. Former members of the Gories, I believe. Ultra Glide in Black. They do some covers, but they also write their own songs that sound like other people's music, which is fine, I guess. This is the Curtis Mayfield Kung Fu. They do Stevie's Living for the City here. Ode to a Black Man by Philip Lynott of the Thin Lizzy on his solo record. Got to Give It Up. Living for the Weekend. Great stuff here. Let's throw some volume on here. We'll give you Ode to a Black Man. This thing rocks and rolls. This is hard. Yeah, let's do this one. Stretch time here in Detroit. They need a rally. They need some juice. Down 2. Mike Norris still in the hill. Leading off, it'll be Alan Have Gun Will Trammell. If you see Stevie Wonder, tell him I'm here. 1-8 is a grounded to short. Lou Whitaker, 46, is a strikeout. And Glenn Wilson, 2-7 on a 12. He gets the base hit. Johnny Grubb, the tie run. 2-10 is a hit by the pitch. 2 on. Norris flirting with disaster in this thing. He has put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 on. But this is the curious case of Mike Norris and how Billy Martin, when he managed the Oakland A's, sort of burned the dude's arm out. He pitched extra inning games and so forth and so on. I am going to hook him, though, after 6 2/3, because Billy Martin's not managing the Ohio players, folks. And he's not on Oakland. This isn't Oakland. So Norris will leave with 2 outs in the 7th, even though it's not a point of weakness inning. Moreover, he cannot lose the game. You got to get Reed Nichols out. Behind him, you got Dave Bergman. We're going to go Brian Clark as the call. Brian Clark with the Seattle Mariner, 1982. A .275 ERA in 115 innings as a relief starter. Nice little card here. Relief 4, starter 6. Brian Clark. Bergman on the on-deck circle is a lefty. Potential pinch hitter involved. So Brian Clark comes on in the 7th to face Reed Nichols with 2 on and 2 outs in a 6-4 game. And here's the pitch. 64 off of Brian Clark is short X. Short's not very good. It's Gonzalez. He's a 3E25 shortstop, and that's going to be a single to load the bases. And now you got Dave Bergman, who does not hit lefties very well at 16%. You got to be careful who you pinch hit, because Sure, you bring in a righty to pinch hit, and then they bring in a righty reliever. And, yeah, you got to bring in the right hitter here. Which one? Which one? I think it might be Kelvin Moore. I'm looking at the right hand, the really bad side on the right, because that's what they're going to be swinging. Or you just leave Bergman in there. So Bergman's got a 5, 6, and 7. That's it. That guy's better. That guy's slightly better. Let's go Ron LaFleur. Let's do it Detroit style. There you go. Batting for Bergman, it's going to be Ron LaFleur. Let's take a look at Ron LaFleur's 1981. He was a White Sox after a short stint with Montreal, where he stole over 100 bases in 1980. Then he goes to the White Sox, hits .246, but he hits lefties very well. His defense is toast. He's awful. But as a designated hitter, he'd be fine. Double-A stealer. And against righties, he's got some walks on his card. So a bases-loaded walk wouldn't be a bad thing either if they go to a righty, which they most certainly should. So they are going to get Clark out of here, and they're going to go to Roy Lee Jackson. Let's take a look at Roy Lee, a Toronto Blue Jay in 81. 1-2, 261 ERA in 62 innings. Used to pitch for the Mets and then the Blue Jays. Roy Lee Jackson will try and get this rally stopped after Brian Clark could not. And he will face Ron LaFleur, the prodigal son, returning to Motown. Here's the pitch. 33 is a grounder to short. Tough break there. All right, Detroit needs a first baseman. I'm not really overly concerned of who that would be. Actually, Barry Evans could even play first base. Let's just put Kelvin Moore in that spot. Call it good. All right. Once again, the Tigers stranded 3. They stranded 3, or they had 3 runners, and a guy got thrown out. They had another guy thrown out. The Tigers have put a ridiculous amount of men on, have not had them cross the plays. We go to the 8th inning. Juan Berenguer will continue in his 3rd inning of relief. It'll be Tony Pena. 1-9 rolls a short. Julio Gonzalez, 56, is a K. And Jerry Manuel, 6'11", pitcher X, E28. The E28 pitcher gives up a single. And it's back up top to Tito Landrum. 55, you walked him. 2 on, 2 outs, and it's Jerry Mumphrey who's killed you today. A double, a single, a walk, another double. Do we actually? Yeah. Yep. It worked last time. Trying to get the final out of the inning. Both teams, really. Making pitching changes with 2 outs in the inning for the 4th time now. It's going to be, yeah, we're thinking about Senior Smoke, but they're going to go Willie Hernandez. It's an elimination game. So Willie Hernandez will come on here in the 8th. Berenguer went, he went 2 innings. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 2/3. Willie Hernandez will come on in the 8th inning. He is the dude, man. He is your 1984 MVP Cy Young winner, 9-3 with a 192 ERA in 140 innings. Yeah. Well, he's got a great card, but yeah, we've seen some amazing closer cards in Strat throughout the timeline, and I don't know if Willie's is one of the best. Maybe he's in the top 5, top 10, maybe. We've seen Gossage 75 card. It's been untouchable. We've seen Jim Brewer's 72 card. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, there's been some other guys. Don't need to belabor the point. Awards are awards. They start at 35-5. Give the Tigers their roses, their flowers. Willie Hernandez comes on in the 8th. He'll face Jerry Mumphrey with 2 on and 2 outs. And here's the pitch. 47 off of Hernandez's card. A single and a 6, and he rolls a 17. Willie gets out of it. Tigers still in this thing, 6-4. Ohio's already used 2 of their relievers. They also have Jesse Jefferson, a righty who kind of gets lefties out, and Odell Jones is the closer. Roy Lee Jackson is really good against righties, and the Tigers are stuck with 3 out of the next 4, all being righty, so Jackson will continue. And here is untouchable Lance Parrish, who has reached 5 times in the last 2 games. Make it 6. 3-7. Double 1 to 7. This is the Lance Parrish world. You and I, we're just living in it, folks. That's a Lance Parrish single. He's 4 for 4, batting 8th. Now your tie run, the only lefty in this assortment for Mr. Jackson, is Cesar Geronimo. 2-2, fly ball to right B, plus an injury. I think you lost an outfielder in the mix somewhere, did you not? Oh, yeah. Oh, Johnny Grubb can play out there. Yeah, Johnny Grubb will have to move into center field since LaFleur is gone. Glenn Wilson or Reed Nichols can play center field. Glenn Wilson can play left. Johnny Grubb can play right. Yeah, that can happen. Okay. 1 out. Back up top, it's Barry Evans. 6'11", pitcher X. Rollie Jackson's an E23. And that's a GBA on the 1E23. Tigers are snake bit or some sort of cat ailment I can't think of. Snake, well, snakes could bite a cat. Snake could bite us. I could be bit. You and I, we could both be bit by snakes. Not to mention a cat could, and the tigers are cats, kittens, whatever. Okay, they're snake bit. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Kind of lost it there. 9th inning, 6-4 game, Ohio, trying to hang on this one. Willie Hernandez, of course, will continue. It's Bill Madlock. 1-7, that's a 2-base hit to right field. Now you got George Hendrick. 1-11, he grounds the third, and the runner has stuck at second. Now it's Dan Driesen. 67's a K, and with 2 outs, it's Gary Matthews. 6-12, he flies to left field, and once again, the Tigers have a chance. They put men on in every inning of the game. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They've put 17 men on in this game, 3 innings. They've scored 4 times. Bottom of the 9th. I wonder if they start with Jesse Jefferson instead of Odell Jones in the surprise move. I think they're going to do that. So they're going to pull Roy Lee. Jesse Jefferson's going to start the 9th inning, not the closer, as he's good against the 2 lefties that are coming up. And then once we get through Grubb, they'll probably go to Odell. In a 6-4 game, Jesse Jefferson, and leading off for the Tigers in the bottom of the 9th. Let me give you Jefferson's stats here. Arguably, Jesse Jefferson's best year in '81, finally, as an older gentleman by this point, because he had been around the 1970s, not doing a whole lot. But in '81, he's got a 3.62 ERA and 77 very good strike year innings. That's a lot of innings for the strike year. For the California Angels, and again, a righty who kind of gets lefties out. You always love to see that on draft day, finding guys like this. So Alan Trammell will lead off for Detroit in the bottom of the 9th. Here's the pitch. 1-3, flies to center. Now you got Lou Whitaker. Sweet Lou, he's homered today. 65, and he gets double 1 to 5. It's a base hit. And now you're in trouble because Glenn Wilson's got all those homers to tie it, followed by Johnny Grubb. Let's go now to your closer. Yeah, let's do that. Do it this way now. Yeah, don't let the guy be responsible for the loss. We still are looking at a Mike Norris, Jackson Todd decision with a possible save involved. So we're going to go right to Odell Jones now, the runner at first. Odell Jones in 1983 was a Texas Ranger with a 3.09 ERA in 67 innings. Really dominates those righties. Gives up walks to lefties. Asked to get the last 2 outs of this game. He will face Glenn Wilson and then Johnny Grubb. Whitaker is a beast stealer. I think he just goes down to second base without a throw. They're not going to hold him. He goes to second because it's a 2-run game. That gets him out of the double play. And so Glenn Wilson will swing. He had the home. We saw the card earlier. Had the big 1-5 home run. Here's the pitch to Glenn Wilson. 5-10 off of Odell Jones' catcher's axe, Tony Pena. A 1 -3 E4 T1 to 13. T rating's bad. Everything else is brilliant. 1 E4 catcher. Don't even need a pass ball or anything. It's a ground ball C. Oh, that's nice. We got a runner at third, 2 outs, and it's Johnny Grubb. Let's take a look at Johnny. This is a 1984 card, and this guy did help the Detroit Tigers. He would be in a platoon in left field with Larry Herndon. 2 guys who started their career in the National League. Grubb with the Padres, then I think Cleveland. Herndon was with the Giants. And it's up to Johnny Grubb to keep this game going, or keep this series going. Runner at third, 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Johnny Grubb. 58 off of Odell Jones is a ground ball to short. Now he's a 3 E25. That's not that great, really. 3 E25, and here we go. It's a single dot. Could not get a glove on it. This is what I'm talking about in Strat, folks. You get your shortstop a 1 or 2 and you win games. You don't let them get away like this in the bottom of the 9th. That's an RBI single, and the game will continue at 6-5. And now you got Reed Nichols. Let's take a look at him. His card looks a lot like Glenn Wilson's card. Reed Nichols, let's call this his best year. With the Boston Red Sox in 1982, he hit .302, 250 plate appearances with 7 dingers, great throwing arm, very good range, could steal a few bases. Yeah, what's not to like about him here? It's a shame it didn't work out for him in a bigger sample size. Big moment, Grubb, East Steeler. He's not going to leave first base. He's not being held on. Odell Jones, Reed Nichols for a possible 3-game sweep for the Ohio players in an attempt to keep their defense of the title going. Here's the pitch to Reed Nichols. 2-3 is a grounder to short, and of course the Tigers would flub it up again, leaving even more men on base in a mild disaster. You know, when you look at these kind of numbers, it almost seems like, you know, that there needs to be a change of the guard in Detroit, and when that change happens, they're going to win the World Series. But right now, it is not coming up Tigers at all for this season. Kind of an embarrassing 6-5 loss. I know you're facing the championship Ohio players, but so many opportunities in this game that they let slip through. We'll go right to the box and close this thing out. What a disappointing affair here in Motown. Willie Hernandez went an inning and a third, gave up hitting a strikeout. Juan Berenguer gave up a hit, a walk, and 3 Ks. Tugboat McGraw gave up a hit and a K. It was all really Jackson Todd. 8 hits and 6 runs. Got some unearned runs in the first inning there. 3 walks, strikeout. Odell Jones does convert the save, giving up a single. Jesse Jefferson gave up a hit and a run in that 9th. Royley Jackson in an inning and a third. He gave up just a single. Brian Clark only faced the 1 batter. Reed Nichols gave up a single. We pulled Norris after 6 2/3. He still gets the win. Gave up 9 hits and 4 runs. The runs came early, and then after that, that's when Detroit just started spinning their wheels. 1019, 0109, 611, 513, 514. Hold on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits for Norris. There we go. 1019, 0109, 611, 514, 4653, 5346. Ohio put 15 men on base. The Tigers put 19 men on base and lose 6-5. And we'll go look at some stats and see what has gone right and wrong for these teams this year. 3-game sweep. My goodness. Ohio's had a very short second half of the Fall League season. They were swept by the Expos 3 straight. Now they sweep the Tigers. So they've been at 500. I'm going to call the Tiger roster better than Ohio's roster. Well, that's a tough call there. I'm going to call the 20-man roster of Detroit better than Ohio, as Ohio's got some spotty role players, but they got some stud starters. And Detroit's ready to win the World Series. They just need better results. I don't know what's up with them. Anyway, Tigers are 11-15 after the 3-game sweep. They're hitting 293. Well, yeah, we saw plenty of hitting in that game. The ERA is 4.68. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Morris wants to forget this season started. He's ready for the strike. He is 0-6. He's given up 30 runs in 50 innings. He has just been horrible. Willie Hernandez is 2-1 with 2 saves, giving up 5 runs in 17 innings. That's fine. Nothing wrong there. Lance Parrish. They need a special category for this guy. How do you give an MVP to a guy on an 11-15 team? But Lance in 26 games has 11 homers and 24 RBIs. He's 29 for 97 to boot. My goodness. And your Ohio players are now 15-9, and they're back in first place. They're hitting .302, but they've got an unsightly .535 earned run average. They've scored 144 runs, and they've given up 139 runs. Makes me think that they've just gotten blown out in a few games. Like outscored like 13-3 2 or 3 times. Because of the one-loss record being so good. Odell Jones has 7 saves, by the way. Not a lot of home runs on this team. You got Jerry Manuel with 5. Bill Madlock's hitting .320. A bunch of guys are all chipping away. Look at Hendricks, 35 for 96. Hendricks at .365. What about Mumphrey? He should be tearing it up, too. Not really. He's 26 for 97. He got hot in that game. Through the Fall League at this point, folks, we have played 374 games. We're hitting .271 with a 4.10 ERA. These numbers are elevated from our Summer League. And that's really because we've got 2 more baseball teams that we get to pull cards from. So you're adding an extra, 54, 57 cards to the overall talent pool, and you can distribute those through 32 teams, and so you usually get more offense that way. And now let's take again another look at the standings, and here we are. So right now we can do this as well for this division because those teams have already played. So let's just do this. Put a little sort action in here for you. And there's Ohio. They're back in first place. 625 baseball. So, there will be something to play for in the final battle. Ohio will play Cleveland, and the Expos will play the Tigers. And it's about who can beat up the has-been more. Will win that division. And that will be one of the best records in the American League, if not, probably the best record in the American League. Kansas City's doing very well also. That's it today for your defending champion Ohio players. They are back on the right side of life. 3-game sweep of the Detroit Tigers. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.